back to another video, and today we're going to get this kitchen finished in the van. So as you'll have seen in the last video, we got the hob drawer built. So now it's time to create a base for the fridge, install the fridge, and then put some shelving around the fridge for extra storage when we're cooking. I think it'll just be easier for me to explain through a CAD model, so I'll show you that now. So this is the design for the upper part of the kitchen. As you can see, you've got a very large opening for the fridge with two shelves on the right hand side and then a large shelf on the top which will cover the whole unit, tidying it all up and giving loads of extra storage space. So that's the CAD model all done. Next up, let's start building the cupboard doors, and then we can move on to building the upper section of the fridge. That's all the wood cut, so I've just roughly placed it where it's going to be. So this one here will open out here, and then we've got two more there, and then that's the shelf in there. So I'll take all this off, get it all painted up, and then we can fit it back on. So that's the doors all painted, so now it's time to fit them. So we'll have to bolt door handles and hinges to them, and then we can bolt them to here and shape them all up and make sure they're all okay. And then the shelf will also just bolt on here. The first hinges and door on, we can now fit the door handle and the metal catch so it won't rattle when driving. So that's the doors on, all finished. So it needs a bit of lining up here and there just to get rid of a few gaps like this, but we're pretty much there with it, and it all matches these doors. So it's just adding a nice feel to the van, and it's starting to make it feel more finished. Next up, we need to fit the shelf onto here, and that's the shelf on, which makes it all look a bit more finished in this area. So if I zoom out, you can see it's all looking very finished now. Everything's matching. So now we can move on to making this section up here. This is where the fridge is going to sit with some shelves up here. One idea which we're thinking of having with this shelf is turning it into a bit of a spice rack. But let me know what you all think we should do, as it's a good usable bit of space. So next up, we need to make the section which is going to hold the fridge and then also all the shelves up the side, as we saw in the design at the start of the video. So I've cut all the wood for the uprights. These are going to be the uprights part of the frame, and then I also had this big nice bit of timber lying around from another project which I've cut to size, and then that fits perfectly on here as a lid for the hob section, but also a nice solid base for the fridge. Now that this is all cut, we can start varnishing all this wood and then start assembling it and cutting the rest of the pieces we need. So that's all this wood section now varnished, ready to install the fridge. So as you can see, it fits perfectly on here and creates a nice cover for this bit. It has chipped in the corner slightly here, so I'm just going to re-varnish this corner here. But the rest of it looks amazing. This is the fridge. Now it's all in position, so it does look quite big now it's in here. But there's still loads of space above and loads of space at the side. So the fridge I've gone for is the Alpicool Transporter HQ fridge. It's a 50 litre fridge, and that's 45 litres of fridge and then 5 litres of freezer. But you can just remove the freezer door as well, and it turns into a full fridge. It's got storage on here. And the one cool thing about this is that the door handle opens both ways. So when we're laid in bed and we want to get a drink, we can just easily reach out and grab it. So now the fridge is sat here, it's time to get it bolted down with the feet here and then wire it all up at the back so we can get power to it. And the fridge is all secured in. So I've bolted it down, and then I've also added this bit, which is the bottom of the shelving unit, just to hold it tight. So everything, it'll all be secure. If we open it up, we've got a light on, which means we've got power. So I've left it turned off for now, as there's no point in it getting cold when we're not going to use it for a while. But at least we've got power, and it does turn on as well. Very happy with this. Now we can move on to building the shelving unit up the side, which you saw in the kitchen design. This is how we're looking now. This is only a rough wooden model. Well, not model, but rough template of what we're going to do. So you can see a nice big H bit here. It's not bolted down at the bottom. And then this top piece all along here, which will create a nice flat shelf along here to store larger items. And then will also be secured at this side, just so it's all tight and in place. So yeah, I'm going to build the whole unit, so all this section on the side here, all off the van, and then mount it into place. But I'm going to remake this. As you can see, some of these cuts aren't the best because I was just going quickly, just trying to get a few ideas down. It's not exactly what we did on the CAD model, but it's close enough, and I think it's going to work really, really well. But enough of this now. Let's move on to building the rest of this all out, and then getting it all fitted in properly so it looks really nice and smart and matches all this unit down here. We've also installed this, which is a carbon monoxide and fire alarms. This is just in the garage section on the other side. It'll just keep us nice and safe. If we do need to ever cook in the van with the door closed, obviously just check for carbon monoxide, so we're not going to die in the van in our sleep. Always a positive. So the framework has all been made. As you can see, it's very different to the plan from what we originally did and what the original models which we were making. But this is how we're looking now. So I've stepped it back here, so when you open the door this way, it doesn't knock into it and has space to open. And I've moved it across slightly to create a gap there, so when you open the door this way, there's also loads of space so it doesn't move. So that's why it's stepped back on this bit. I'm going to create some nice trim to finish around here, and then obviously varnish all the wood. So we're going to have a bottom shelf here which will store small items, same on this one, and then a big top shelf all along the top which will store our larger items under netting. Then we've also got some storage down the side here which I need to work out a way to make that useful, and obviously the spice rack down here. So it's all starting to take shape. So next up, we need to build some shelves for here, varnish it all and paint everything. So let's get cracking with that. So this is all the framework now that's varnished. As you can see, it goes along to this end here and hooks over there, and then it's screwed down to here, so it makes it all nice and secure. We've got a nice bit of space to add a top piece here, one here, and I need to do something which is going to neaten up this side, so when you stand outside the van, you can see that when you're looking, it's going to look nice and neat along here, and it doesn't just look like open framework. There's not loads of storage here, but I feel like if we have pots and pans on the top, and then we can have mugs and plates and bowls all in here, and there'll be enough just for a nice weekend away. This isn't going to be a permanent van, not going to be living in it forever. It's just for weekends away, so I think that'll be more than enough. And that's all the shelves fitted. So I've got this large top one on here, one here, one here. And then if I step out the van, I've got this wall piece which I've made along here, which just neatens it all up when you look in. And then this piece here. So these all need painting, so I'm going to do that now, and then they can all be fixed down. I'm probably going to use a sealant or a glue to fix them down, just so I've not got screws everywhere, so it looks nice and neat like these ones here. I then need to look at making some mesh for here, just so stuff doesn't fall out when it's stored in there. So that's the shelves all on after they're painted. They're not being screwed down yet. I'm about to do that now, but this is how we're looking. If I stand back, you can see it just makes the whole van look really nice and finished, all matching, which looks really, really good. So yeah, we'll get these all secured down, and then we'll work out a way, and maybe some netting on here or something like that, to try and keep all the pots and pans nice and secure when we're driving around. So I've just made these new bits of wooden trim here which are going to sit here, so we're going to get them all filed up and varnished, but these will just tie in this whole area and just make it all look a bit neater, so we've not got any unfinished edges like that there. I made these little walls for the shelves here, so that one will sit there, and then we've got one there and one there. And as you can see with this mug, this will just hold everything in place, so it's not moving around. I'm gonna get storage containers to sit on here as well, but it'll just tie everything in, so it's all nice and secure when we're driving around. I'm also going to do the same along the top here. Let's get these top ones cut, these all painted, and then we're on to a winner, and we're getting this kitchen finally finished. And this is the kitchen. Now it's all complete. Super happy with how this has turned out. So as you can see, we've got loads of storage space on the top, which we can utilise. I found this very useful for just putting stuff on whilst I'm cooking. Then we've got a nice big storage shelf here, and then another one down here. We have the hob drawer, which we built a few episodes ago. Then over here, we've got a nice shelf for more storage. And then inside of here, we have our water storage with a water tank, and then more stuff for the hob just down here. All the doors are on magnetic catches, so they don't fly open. I have to say, with all this stuff on, it's still very, very quiet when driving along. So this is really, really good. I'm very happy with how this turned out. And now it's time to get this van finished. Thank you for watching the video on this kitchen build. I'll be sure to see you next time. We've still got plenty more we need to do to the van. Next up, we're going to slam the van, so make sure you stick around for that, because this is going to have a massive transformation on the van. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, turn on post notifications, as it massively helps out the channel. I'll see you next time.